You not gonna lie, I'm at the tall figures. I don't even wanna be involved with you the way I am because I want it all quicker. And I ain't stopping till the family all richer.
Oh, wait, look. Phil is talking about AEW again. He's talking to Peter Rosenberg.
Are there any... I'm not going to ask you what you think I'm asking. I'm not talking about the press conference. Do you have any regrets from AEW with regard to matches that didn't happen or stories that didn't get told?
Do I? Oh,
where there's
it's such a loaded question.
So let me reframe it so it doesn't sound that way. Was there someone you didn't get to tell a story with that you would have liked to have told the story?
No.
You feel like you hit the ones that you wanted to hit?
I feel like I wasted some matches on some people for sure. But that is what it is. Like, some people understand the business, some people don't. You know, and I think everybody here understands the business.
All right, so the internet is running around trying to figure out what the hell Philip is talking about. Who did he waste matches on? So I did for the first time ever. You guys should appreciate this. So hit the like button because I did this. I went right into cage match. This is the first time I have ever used cage match on a video. And I'm looking at the list of CM Punk opponents. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what CM Punk said when he first started in AEW about what he wanted to do. And I'm going to see if he actually did what he said he wanted to do. And to see if the person he is wrestling in this particular match is worth CM Punk wrestling. So, we're going to go back before we get into his cage match list. August 20th, 2021, CM Punk puts out a list. He says, I get excited about the prospect of me working with Brian Pillman Jr., Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, Jon Moxley. I've never worked with Jon Moxley before. Literally, it's everybody. I've never done anything with the Young Bucks. I've never stepped in the ring with Kenny Omega. I think there's so many dream matches, which is what people will call them, or dream situations. And who knows who else is coming. I'm excited to be here. I said it out there in the promo. I'm here for the fans. I'm here for me. I'm not a liar. I'm not going to lie. If you tell me this is going to be fun again, and I can go out there and have the time of my life, that's the juice for me. Again, August 20th, 2021. This was right after he debuted. This was in Sports Illustrated. CM Punk pretty much put hands in one way or another on everybody that he mentioned. His first match was against Darby Allin, which is what he said. So I'm pretty sure that wasn't a waste. He requested Darby Allin. He requested Powerhouse Hobbs. He even said him by name. Daniel Garcia was his third opponent. I don't know if he would see Daniel Garcia as a waste, considering most people would think that at that point in time, Daniel Garcia wasn't as good as he is now. But some people just think he's boring anyway. I don't know if Punk would think he's a waste, but he wasn't somebody that he mentioned. Matt Seidel's a guy from Ring of Honor. I'm not so sure he would think that was a waste. Bobby Fish. Well, Bobby Fish and CM Punk had issues after this match when Bobby Fish went on, wanted CM Punk to shoot fight him because, you know, he's retarded. No offense to people who are literally retarded, but Bobby Fish is literally your kind of people. Eddie Kingston was one of CM Punk's opponents. I think there's probably some respect there between the two of them. QT Marshall. I think QT Marshall is a waste of bumps. He's a nobody and a nothing. Lee Moriarty is another one of those young guys that Punk wanted to work with. I don't think he said him by name. I've already forgot the people he mentioned. He got to team up with Sting, which was great. And then he wrestled Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, and MJF. I know he likes all of those guys. You got Wardlow. Wardlow might be a waste, considering the company wasted Wardlow. I don't think that's Wardlow's fault. Shawn Spears. Oh, absolutely. Shawn Spears is an absolute waste. He's a waste of oxygen. He's a waste of B vitamins. He's a waste of, just sunlight, oxygen, rainwater, just a waste of everything. He just wasted everything. My God. Max Caster. Oh, why is he wrestling Max Caster? Why would that ever happen? He teamed with John Moxley at one point. I'm skipping over that. I'm skipping over the guys that Punk is that he mentioned, or guys that he's already wrestled. So of that, you had Dax Harwood, MJF, etc. He teamed up with Moxley. I'm pretty sure that was fine, but I don't. We'll talk about the other ones later. But Max Caster to me is a waste of bumps. Why would you want to wrestle Max Caster? What were you supposed to get out of that? You could have slept soundly that night rather than wrestle Max Caster. I didn't even remember that match happening in the first place. Penta Oscuro. I don't think. Would this be a waste? I wouldn't think so. Penta is one of the more popular Mexican wrestlers in the world. I don't think it would be a waste to wrestle him. I'm pretty sure it was an honor for CM Punk to wrestle Dustin Rhodes, which he wrestled. John Silver, absolutely, no doubt that was a waste. I don't have no idea why he was even in the same building as John Silver, or why John Silver. Look, I'm not even the biggest Punk booster in the world, but come on, John Silver, 8 minutes with John Silver. That wouldn't even happen on WWF Superstars in 1995. Hangman Adam Page, oh, that's going to be an obvious one. He wrestled Adam Page. Yeah, that's an obvious. that's one of the big ones. So I'm pretty sure you could put a check next to Hangman Page that he probably think Hangman Page was a waste. The Gun Boys, Austin and Colton Gunn, he wrestled them in a 6-man tag. I don't see how that would be a waste. I do think that he probably wasn't thrilled with his working with John Moxley, even though in 2021 he said he wanted to wrestle John Moxley. He didn't actually get in the ring with him until August of 2022, and then they wrestled again in September. And we know that Moxley wasn't a big fan of that whole thing, so I'm pretty sure Punk wasn't. That's unfortunate because he looked like he was he really wanted to have fun with John Moxley, but they couldn't get on the same page. It's a Jay White and Juice Robinson. I don't see why they would be a waste. Samoa Joe was in that match as well. From there, you got Satoshi Kojima, who is a Japanese wrestling legend. I don't see why that would be a waste. Then you got Ricky Starks, which I don't see why that would be a waste. The House of Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews, Malachi Black. This is from Collision, one of the Collision shows. I don't see why that would be a waste. He wrestled Luchasaurus. Oh, yeah, definitely a waste of bumps. But this is an 8-man tag with Luchasaurus, the Mogul Embassy, which is Brian Cage and Swerve Strickland, and Jay White. Swerve, I would think that he probably would appreciate Swerve, and Swerve would have appreciated him. And then his final match, of course, is against Samoa Joe. So I think the most obvious one is Hangman Page and probably Moxley. Those are probably the two main ones that I can think of off the top of my head. But when you consider that John Silver is also friends with the Elite, maybe he's also a waste. But the idea that Punk went out there and was trying to do business and these guys don't understand the business, well, I think we get that. And we understand that a lot more now than we did before. We were suspicious about whether they understood the business before. It was then later confirmed that they know fuck all about the pro wrestling space. That came out later on when you started seeing the things that they do and hearing the things that they say. You got an idea that you're dealing with people who are not quite sure what industry that they're in. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to have bad feelings about what he's saying here, but to be quite honest, he keeps getting asked these questions. He should answer them as long as he keeps getting asked about them. I mean, Bobby Fish is obviously on the list, right? I mean, Bobby Fish is old as CM Punk is, and he, was threatening him after the fact, saying he wanted to fight him. Like, what kind of retarded shit is that? I mean, I don't even understand you, Bobby Fish. I don't want to understand you, but it's ridiculous. For those of you who are unsure, like, what's going on with Bobby Fish and CM Punk? Let's get into that for a little bit before we wrap this thing up. So Bobby Fish was upset that CM Punk called himself a martial artist and he had fought in MMA. He says, Phil is not a bad pro wrestler, but Phil is not a martial artist. I've been doing martial arts since I was 8 years old. Who cares about this horse shit? It's not real, you dumbass Mark you. He said, you can paint with whatever color you want. Choose a color that you have in your toolbox. If you don't have blue, you're not painting with blue. CM Punk is not a martial artist. He went on pay-per-view and showed the world he's not a martial artist. He's a pro wrestler. Go out, tackle, drop down, leapfrog, give it again. All good. In that lane, he has talent. When it comes to martial arts, you're insulting the audience's intelligence because you're not supposed to be creating an atmosphere where you suspend your, well, you're supposed to be creating an atmosphere where you suspend your disbelief. It's insulting for you as one of my coworkers or peers, as a martial artist. You're asking me to go out and sell one of your bunk-ass martial arts? It's insulting to the audience. It's an insult to me. That's why you feel that Bobby Fish will be number one with a bullet when it comes to people CM Punk says he wasted a match on. But that and Hangman Page are probably the two most obvious ones. But Bobby Fish went on and on about trying to haku CM Punk's punk ass, and he's a cunt, and a bunch of other. This guy nuked his own career. Look, Bobby Fish wasn't going to go much of anywhere anyway, but he pretty much nuked his career, after this one. But Bobby Fish is friends with the Young Bucks. I mean, it says it all, right? And there that is. So, all you got to do is, it's a simple thing. Look at some of the stuff people have said about him. The things that Moxley has said about him on podcasts. About how he was doing Punk a favor during August of 23 or August of 22, however that went. When the two of them had their pair of matches. And that he was working without a contract. And he was doing Punk a favor in trying to pitch this Rocky 3 storyline that Punk didn't understand. Even though that's Punk's fault for being a dork and not watching a masculine man movie like Rocky. I mean, my God. Stop watching Cinderella or whatever it is you're looking at and go watch some real men movies. Go watch Predator or something, okay? Anyway, Moxley, I could see being one of the guys that he would say he was a wasted a match on that guy, because even though Moxley was interesting to him, you would think they would be two peas in a pod, Moxley drank the elite juice, so he was he was a little on the other side at the time. But the stuff that Moxley said about him, the stuff that Bobby Fish said about him, the stuff that Hangman Page said about him, those would be the three obvious ones when you say people that he wasted a match on. And that wasn't hard to figure out. Some of the other ones might be even more so, considering, he got to work with guys like Darby and Sting, and I'm pretty sure he had nothing negative to say about those guys. So it'll have to be those three, at least. And then probably a couple of more, but those would be a little bit harder to figure out. But that's it. He was asked about AEW again. All you had to do was look it up, and it speaks for itself.
Skin tone, so why attach yourself and piggyback the wealth you didn't earn or lack yourself? I'm telling you to own up to your own success and failures. It's a reason why these sleazy guys